Hi everyone! In today's video I'm going to be reviewing the Gucci Cushion Foundation with an all-day wear test as well as looking at it indoors and outdoors, so please watch on! Of the 12 shades available I purchased 07. Does it have a name? No, it doesn't have a name. It comes in a box like this. It's very pretty. There's the shade that it comes in, and then there's no leaflet, well there wasn't in mine anyway, and this is what it looks like. It's actually rather lovely. So it's got a lovely line design with the and actually they make a deal of this on their website. It's got a lion pattern with a wreath of flowers designed by Alessandra Michel with gold Gucci lettering, as we can see, and it comes with a proper mirror, it fills the whole of the circle, as it were, and it comes with a lovely sponge, which they say is a soft cushion applicator. Actually, it's very soft. And then all you do is open that. I'm going to peel off the top, but that's what it comes in. And it's refillable. So it retails, I've got it written here, it retails at £48, $54, and the refills are £39 and $46. So it's refillable, obviously a good thing. Well, it's reassuring to know that it's stuck on, it's not just a peel on. There we go. So I've peeled it off and now we've got the product there. Now just with my finger, let me show you the colour. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah, oh, it's a very, do you know what it feels like under the finger? It feels moussey, which I think is a good thing. Mousse as in the dessert, not as in the, you know, let's give it a go. I've just got my daily skincare on because it's early this morning, in the morning rather. I haven't got anything else on. What I did do, however, is I made sure I didn't moisturise on my nose, and I didn't sort of moisturise there either, so to give it a fighting chance. Now I'll start putting it on and let me tell you about the product itself. So let's use the applicator. So actually, let me show you the applicator. It's got a tip there, so presumably that's going to be handy for around the nose and under the eyes, but let's see. I should say that the refill does come with another sponge as well. They say this is a luminous finish, which we'd expect because it's made in Korea, so part of the cultural deal. So it's a nice luminous finish, hopefully, and it's got an SPF of 22. So let's see. Now what I'm going to do is oh my goodness me. Okay, so not unlike when I reviewed the TIR TIR foundation, I put on what I thought was a reasonable amount, but actually I should have gone more easily on it. It's a luminous finish. They say it's a uniquely caring foundation because it's anti-pollution and it's got anti-blue light properties, which helps with our skincare. It's a light to medium buildable coverage. They say it's very lightweight, which it does feel lightweight. As I say, it's got this under my fingers, it's a moussey texture. Obviously I don't feel the moussey texture with the sponge, but it is, I can see it's light, because actually even as you saw when I put too much on this side, it did spread easily when I transferred it to the other side, I think, but we'll take a closer look. They say it blends seamlessly into the skin. I think we'll be the judge of that. Let's see how it goes. Refillable, as I said, 14 ml, which is about average from the other cushion foundations that I looked at. It's for all skin types, including sensitive, they say, and there are moisturising properties of glycol, glycerin, hydrates for up to 24 hours, and black rose oil gives antioxidant properties. I'm going to go very easily now on this, just for my forehead. It's a plant-based, totally plant-based formula, so it is vegan. It's got no animal, it's got no products even derived from animals, never mind animal products. This is what you need to know because on the Gucci website they do make a big deal of this. It is scented, and actually let me smell it. It seems like a mild fragrance to me, but I'm not particularly sensitive to fragrance, although it's nowhere near what, for example, Chanel is or Dior. It's nowhere near that level of fragrance where even I find it a bit overpowering, certainly with the Dior. But let me just tell you what they say. It's a floral accord of peony and freesia, modernised by a watery citrus accord and evanescent musky notes. I'm afraid I'm insensitive enough for that complexity to have passed me by. It just feels like a very light floral fragrance to me. But as I said, if you're sensitive, you're sensitive. There's a mirror, as we know, and a soft cushion applicator. That's everything about the foundation. Now I've put what I think is a light application. I don't think I've gone anywhere close to a medium. So why don't I put a bit more on so that you can see what it's like as a medium coverage. Now, I do like the concept of a compact foundation, which is why I'm so interested in this cushion foundation and why I'm on a mission now to test every single cushion foundation that's released this year, because there's a lot coming up, as I've said. So I thought, let's start with TIR TIR and Gucci and then keep going. I like the convenience of a compact. I like it for travel. I love the way it doesn't count as a liquid on a flight. That's a real plus for me, which is probably one of the reasons why I've ended up so loyal to the MAC Studio Fix, which is definitely not a cushion foundation. But I do like it because I can put a very light application if I need to, and it's great for travel. So that's really probably one of the reasons why I kept going with it. But to have a cushion foundation, to have that Korean luminosity, to me is very attractive as somebody with very dry skin and a mature skin. So that's why I want to give every single one of these a go and a test and a review with you. I'm going under the eyes with the pointy bit of the sponge because, you know, let's see what it does. And actually, while I don't have sensitive skin, under my eyes, it is sensitive because that's where I get eczema. So I do have to be careful. But let's see how this lasts during the day with it under my eyes. I think I'm blending it in enough, I think. So a cheeky look in the old hand mirror. Yeah, the colour's too light for me. But to be fair, I did buy this a couple of weeks ago and my skin tone has darkened a little bit with the sunshine, for which we're incredibly grateful for here in England. Well, I'm very grateful for. Okay, okie dokie. Okay, so I think that is as medium as I'm going to get it on this one. So let's have a look. Now, as I said, the colour is definitely too light for me. It was quite hard choosing the colour because there's only 12 shades. There's not much to go on, I have to say, on their website and when I was looking elsewhere as well. So it was a bit of a punt between 07 and 08 for me, and I went for 07. Possibly I should look at 08. I did buy it online. I could have gone into Selfridges, but I didn't. But maybe what I'll do is I will, well, in fact, not maybe, I will. I'll go and buy the refill of the next one. However, I think I can make it work with a bit of bronzer just to get me through the day and so that I don't look too startled by looking too pale. But anyway, so have a look at my forehead. So that's a nice flat albeit lined surface to look at. I would say it is a luminous finish because if I look at my cheekbone here, I am getting a bit of luminosity. Yeah. I still want to put a bit of powder on my nose, however, and I will do that if I can find my powder. Oh yes, it's here. I'll keep you close up so you can see. Let's get the old. So I'm using the Prisme Libre in Mousseline Acidue, which is 04. Is it 04? Yes, it's 04. It's interesting with this powder because actually what I have found, because I have started switching to slightly darker foundations, obviously because my skin got darker, it's still fine, even with a darker tone. So I am pleased with it because there was a moment when I thought, oh, is it going to be too light? But actually, it's all right. So let's see I'll see how long I can keep going. I have, however, ordered the YSL powder as well, pressed powder, just as a comparison. So I will be reporting back on that one. Just if you're a shade twin, then that may well be of interest to you. What I'll do is I'll go away and put some blusher on and then come back for a final look. Also film outside in daylight because we've actually got some sunshine, as I've said, so you could have a look at what it looks like in daylight. As I said, we'll have to bear in mind the fact that it's not really the right colour for me anymore. And then what I'll do is I'll report back at the end of the day and let's see how it's worn. I put some bronzer on, which was just the Dior bronzer in 04. What I will say is the more that I use this, the more that the fragrance seems pronounced. It's the fragrance of jasmine, and I know the fragrance really well because I do like jasmine, but to a degree, and it's quite overpowering. So the more I use my brush, the more it knocks me out. Well, it doesn't knock me out, but it's really noticeable. And in comparison, this is very mild. So I just wanted to say that. I've put some of the Natasha Denona Flirty Flush on. It's all right. I mean, I've got it now, so I'm using it, but I think it's probably more trouble than it's worth because it's just tricky. And I just put some of the new Charlotte Tilbury Dream Talk, which I really like. I really like these lipsticks. I like the matte formula. It's so moisturising. I get a matte formula without it drying my lips. I should say that when I applied both the bronzer and the cream blush on top, everything went on seamlessly on top of the Cushion foundation. It was no different to my using my Givenchy, my Guerlain, or the Clé de Peau, or any of them. It just went on really, really smoothly. I didn't have to do anything special. It was just quick and it was fine. I only did it off camera just to save time, you know, frankly, save your time. I will now go about my day. I might have to put on a bit more bronzer because this is really quite a lot lighter than the rest of me in real life. But I am going to go and take you outside on my iPhone so you can see what it looks like in daylight. So we'll do that and then I'll see you a lot later for the wear test. Okay, so this is me in daylight. I'm surrounded by glass here and it's a sunny day. And my goodness, there's a bit too much blush, which is why I tend to put my blusher actually outside of the lights. But anyway, this is what it looks like. I'm going to come up close up so you can have a look. I mean, the colour's too light, but it's a nice even finish. Let's see how it lasts. It's nice and glowy. The question is it worth the money? And is it worth having the SPF, which is, it's obviously a bonus to have in there, as well as all the moisturising properties, so, and the convenience and the beautiful packaging. Let's see how it wears. So it's now almost 10 hours later. It's now 7:30 in the evening here. So let's have a look. Let me bring you closer. I have changed my lipstick because I put the Charlotte Tilbury Dream Talk on and it just seemed too dark or too heavy somehow. Something wasn't right. So I changed it to Kiss Talk throughout the day, and I topped this up about an hour ago, but it lasts really well with endless cups of tea. At any rate, let's have a look at the foundation. So here we go. I think it's lasted pretty well. I've got a bit of shine on my nose, but I don't even think that's shine. I see that as a bit of glow. I tend not to wear that much, even though I put the powder on. I don't tend to be really generous with the powder, just because that's just a look I prefer. However, I'm just reminding you, I didn't put powder at all on my cheeks. It was just a little bit on my chin, around my nose here and here, or actually on my nose, sorry, and in the corner, and a little bit here. And I should say I have blown my nose several times because it's hay fever season, but that's what it looks like. I've looked in my big magnification mirror, my 10x mirror. I can't see any real separation. I mean, I just think it's worn a little bit, but I don't see anything to be concerned about. And it hasn't caked or done anything. Not that I've got dry patches at the moment, just because it's now April as I'm filming, and my skin is well moisturized. But I'm just saying it doesn't feel tight. My skin feels super comfortable. It feels like I've worn a much more rich liquid foundation. And I haven't. I've had the convenience of a compact, which is pretty amazing, really. So I really like this. I will go for a darker shade. Now, as I said, I am looking at this. The one I've got on is 07, which Gucci classes as fair, medium, warm. I should say on the Gucci website, you have to go into each colour to get the shade description. It's a bit cumbersome, and actually it took me a while to find it just because as I was looking. It's not entirely obvious. So if you are interested and you want to think about the colours, you've got to go into each one individually. So the next one, 08, is fair, medium, cool, and the one after that is 09, medium, cool. So I may yet sort of jump up to two shades, but I'll have a look in store, and I might do a short actually doing a compare and contrast in case it's of interest of somebody who's similar shade to me. But I'm pleased with this. It's actually lasted better than I thought, and I'll tell you why. Having reviewed the TIR TIR, which is a medium to full coverage, I thought I thought that it wouldn't last as well as that one did. But actually, I think even though, of course, the coverage has diminished a bit, if I look at my forehead, it's still covered. I've still got a bit of a glow, which I really like, and I still feel like I've got enough polish in terms of the makeup that I've actually got on. I don't feel like I've come back in after a day and it's all worn off and I'm looking not as finished, as it were. Remember, it is a light to medium coverage. For me, that suits me because I like a thinner foundation, and I like, if it's not light, then I like it to be light medium more than medium full generally, unless I'm having a particularly more formal day or a longer day. So for me, that suits me. That's why I'm going to invest in a refill in another colour, in the next shade that's appropriate for me. I like the fact that my skin feels moisturised. Thinking about the fragrance, I don't feel that the fragrance gets in the way of my experience. That's what I would say. I mean, it is interesting, isn't it, that Gucci have turned the fragrance and what they call actually is the scent. They've turned that into a benefit, that is something as a high-end brand they want to show off, and that there is very much a complex fragrance there. As I said, maybe it's wasted on me. I can just smell something very light, but nothing major. And as I said, it's certainly nothing like the Dior or the Chanel, and even Givenchy and Guerlain. I can see that fragrance may be too much for some people. It's not like this. This is not like those 4 brands. The moisturizing part of it, I really appreciate. It never felt tacky. I just would say that my skin just feels nicely hydrated and comfortable and moisturized. If I was to use this in the dead of winter, I'm confident it would be absolutely fine. It would keep my skin hydrated on top of everything else. I know it's got SPF, which regardless of, I mean, it depends on how you feel about having SPF in foundations. It's never going to be enough, is it? But it's an extra and it's fine. I have to say, having taken some photographs, it photographed absolutely fine. So that was a plus as well. The fact that it's refillable, you would expect that. I think from a price point of view, it's attractively priced, ignoring TIR TIR, which is at £22 is astounding value, and in terms of the volume you get with that. But just in terms of comparisons, La Mer is £105, Chantecaille is £132, but you do get a refill in that as well. So you do get your extra refill, which I suppose makes it feel like better value, but it's still expensive. And the Clé de Peau is £93. I would say in terms of shade ranges, the Gucci, even though it's not an enormous shade range by any means with the 12 shades, it's still better, I think, than the three I've mentioned. Dior have got one, but again, that's a very limited shade range, which I would expect with Dior as well, because I don't see them as being a brand that looks after the medium tan onwards particularly well. But the main thing, I suppose, that attracted me to this is I wanted to give this a go because I like, as I said, I like the concept and I like having something in a compact. But I also know that there's more cushion foundations coming out this year, and I want to be able to compare all of them. So I will be reviewing all of them as they come, assuming that there's a shade that's roughly right for me and they're not too fair, because of course this being very much a Korean and an Asian concept, it seems to me that there's more brands that will deal with that side of the market than the side of the market that I sit in. But as long as there's a shade that, as I said, is roughly where I sit, then I will definitely review it. Do let me know if you have tried any of these cushion foundations. I would love to hear. And have you tried the Gucci, and what did you think of it? Or indeed, have you tried any of the other ones that I've mentioned or perhaps haven't mentioned? Because I would love to know, not least because I would love to know whether there's something else that I should be trying and whether there's something else that would be worthy of comparison. So do let me know, and please subscribe and give me a thumbs up. And thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks so much. Bye.